Hi, today I'm at New Aberdour Beach in Aberdeenshire, and anyone from these parts who's ever been wild camping will know this place. In the summer months, on the warm nights, this place is absolutely hoaching with camper vans and caravans and tents. It's a very popular place. It's almost like a campsite that isn't officially a campsite, yet you're still wild camping when you're here. Unfortunately, the place shows the scars of its overuse, and there's a lot of burn marks on the grass, and you often find a lot of litter here. So before I leave in the morning, I will be picking up litter, and I am going to have a fire pit so I don't burn any more circles into the grass. Now, I was hoping I was going to get the place to myself, but looking over there, there are 3 camper vans parked in the top corner, and I'm hoping that they disappear before it goes dark. But hey, it's a free place and they can camp here as well. But as it was a last minute thing, I've decided tonight I am going to do a stealth van camp. Now, most stealth vans are like fancy caravans with 4 wheels. Well, mine, well, it's more like a bivouac with 4 wheels. It's a tiny little van and I can just about fit in if I sleep diagonally. So what I'm going to do is I'm quickly going to show you where I'm kipping for tonight. So this is my little van. So we're parked there. There we go, there's the view. So pretty special view, and this is what it looks like in the back. So there we go. I'm going to be lying diagonally across there with an air mattress and a bit of foam matting. But I have got some amenities because I've actually got a porta potty in the front that I can use if I have to. Now, weirdly, there are some toilets over there. Now, let me spin this round. Somebody bought this ground. This used to belong to the council, and somebody bought it a few years back with the intention of turning it into a campsite. But people have been camping here since the 1930s, and I know nobody was willing to pay for something that they'd had for such a long time free. So the idea of it being a campsite kind of fell apart. So the toilets over there, I don't know anybody who's ever used them, but it is still a pretty popular wild camping spot. So I am going to go for a wander, and I'll probably bring you back when it's time to get something to eat. Well, while I've got a little bit of daylight left, I thought I'd tell you an interesting story about something that occurred on this beach. On the 28th of October, 1888, a steamship called the William Hope set out from Fraserburgh, which is kind of that way, headed for Berg Head, that way, to collect a cargo. Now, they set out with almost no ballast with the intention to go as quick as they possibly could. Now, as they rounded the headland over there, the captain reported hitting hurricane force winds and the boat was really struggling. He gave it absolutely maximum and the steam boiler let go. This put them in a really dangerous situation. They were drifting rapidly towards the rocks here. So what he did was he shot the anchor with the intention to kind of ride out the storm. Well, unfortunately for him, the anchor hawser snapped and the boat was drifting rapidly towards the rocks. He decided that he was going to try and beach the boat, and he spun it round and he ran for this beach behind me in New Aberdour Bay. Unbeknownst to him, there's a big rocky reef across the middle of the bay. Now, at the same time, a 40-year-old mother of 9 called Jane White, who lived in a cottage on the beach here, was walking her dog. Now, she saw what was going on and she knew that it was down to her to do something. There is no Coast Guard lookout on this stretch of coast and there's no cottages overlooking. So she was going to be the only person who could do anything. Now, not at all daunted by this task, she tied off her dog, she rolled up her trouser legs and waded out into the water up to her armpits. She shouted at the boat and instructed the men to throw her a line, which they did. She tied the line round her waist and she walked backwards and braced herself until the line was tight. She then told the men to use that lifeline to get ashore. 15 men got ashore safely. Now, without a doubt, if she hadn't have done this, they would have been killed as the boat got broken up on the rocks. Now, once this was done, Jane took the men to her cottage and fed them and gave them somewhere warm to stay the night. Now, the next morning, full of gratitude, they left and returned to Fraserburgh. Now, these guys, they contacted the press. They could not believe the heroism of this woman. They contacted the press and it just went viral. It was in newspapers from Inverness to Cornwall, and it even made international newspapers. Now, so pleased with this that the Royal National Lifeboat Institute presented Jane with a silver award, and she also got the Board of Trade Bronze Award for lifesaving. She was also given a £10 fee from the Board of Trade, which at that time was a massive amount. Jane lived out her life here, and in 2016 a plaque was put here to commemorate her act of heroism. I hope you found that interesting. Just a little story, but I think it's a really lovely story about this place. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go back over to my van and I'm going to start getting myself some tea. So I'll see you there. Well, it's time to get some grub on. And tonight, obviously, I'm going to have spicy noodles. But I kind of came over a little bit all assignment of Bloke in the Woods, and I'm going to cook from scratch. So tonight, I'm going to cook budae jjigae, which is Korean army stew. Now, Korean army stew came about when, in the early 50s, at the end of the Korean War, protein sources around the city of Seoul were becoming a bit scarce, and the American troops would give away processed meat and processed cheese to the locals as a source of protein. Now, they mixed it in with their Korean noodle soups and came up with army stew. So I'll show you the ingredients of what I'm going to make. Okay, so what we've got here is, on the left, we've got the American stuff. So we've got processed American cheese, we've got Frankfurters, we've got baked beans. I guess they'd have used Heinz, but I could only get Branston beans in a little can. And Spam. Yes, I know I already have Spam in my noodles, but this is the recipe. So that side is the American stuff. And on this side, we've got a green onion, or a spring onion as I call it, a chestnut mushroom, some kimchi flakes, some Korean soup base, some ramen noodles, and some gochujang Korean spicy paste. And what we're going to do is we're going to make the soup base first. We're going to slice up all the meats, and effectively we're going to chuck everything in. But what I'll put in first will be the kimchi flakes and the onion and the mushroom. Let that soften a bit. Then I'll chuck the beans in. Then I'll chuck the meat in. And last of all, I'll put the cheese on the top, and then we'll bring it up to a simmer. So what I'll do is I'll prep everything, and I'll bring you back when it's all prepped. Okay, that's everything prepped up. I've not used the whole of the spring onion. I've used all the green and about a third of the white. I've cut the mushrooms up kind of thin enough that they'll cook quickly in the hot broth. Traditionally, I'm told the Spam was cut into fairly big chunks. I would have ordinarily have put it in little sticks, but I'm going to kind of go with what I've read. So first things first, we'll get some water on. I'm using a bigger pan than I normally would, and I'm going to put in about 400 mils of water. As you can see, that's a kind of a guesstimate. We'll get this bad boy lit, and then crank her up. And when we get that boiling, I'm going to add the kimchi flakes, the soup base, the gochujang, and the onions. Okay, so that's the water boiling now. So I'm probably going to turn it down a little bit, just to a simmer. There we go, about there. I'm going to put in the kimchi flakes. which is kind of kimchi flakes and some veg. Soup base. Oh, that smells good. Going to put in the onions. So I'm going to put the mushies in as well. I'm going to put some gotcha jam in. I'm not going to put too much in because this stuff's quite hot. And I can always add some more if it's not hot enough. Do you know what? I think we'll start putting in the American stuff. So baked beans, this seems a bit weird, but baked beans are in. Let's give it a bit of a stir. And actually, I think I'm going to crank that back up a bit because the baked beans have just sucked all the heat out of that. So we'll give that a minute. I think I'm going to have a quick taste of the broth, see how hot it is. I'll just pull that off to the side. That's nice. I could actually go a bit more spice in that, so a bit more of that. We'll get that back up to the boil. Okay, now the sauce is starting to thicken up a bit. I'm going to grab the noodles from back there and plop the noodles in. And I think it's time to put the meat in. So here we go. We'll go hot dogs. Not sure that I need all of them. What the hell. So we'll lay the spam on the top. Chip all the hot dogs in for a penny, in for a pound. Give that a bit of a turnover. And then I think one slice of cheese on the top, like that. I think Chef can have the other one. Nom nom nom. And we'll turn it to simmer. If I can, that way. I think we are ready. So there we go, dinner is ready. And as you can tell now, it's absolutely pitch black outside. So I can safely say, I don't think I've got a career on the cookery channel ahead of me. If you want to know why I say that, wait to the very end. I'll put the outtakes of what actually happened when I was cooking. So I'm going to eat it out of the pan. I think even though I scaled all the recipes I found down dramatically, I think they're all designed for families. So there's even me, I think there's too much here, but we're going to give it a go. So first things first, a bit of spam with melted cheese on it. Yeah, that's spicy goodness. Wipe my face. Let's try a bit of noodle. Oh, that is very good. Actually, could have gone more on the gotcha jam. There's a bit of a chili heat to it, but it could have been hotter even. I am surprised. Frankfurter. Oh yeah. Oh, all in all, it's it does seem quite strange digging into a bowl of spicy noodles to find baked beans, but anyway, they're in the recipe. So Buddha jiggy, Korean army stew. Yep, thumbs up from me. So I'm going to tuck in. I'll spare you any more slurping, and I'll see you when I've done as best I can, because I don't think I'm going to finish all of this, but I'll give it a darn good go. So I shall see you in a while. Another go. Well, that's dinner done. Couldn't quite finish it all, but I am suitably stuffed. And, well, what do I think of Korean army stew? 1 thumb, 2 thumb, absolutely splendid. Thoroughly enjoyed that. I would definitely do that again on a camp. I'll spare you having to watch me make it in future, but yeah, definitely doing that on a camp. Could have gone a bit more of the gochujang paste. It needed maybe a little bit more chili. I think the baked beans probably absorbed the chili hit, the sweetness of them, but didn't spoil it in any way. Absolutely brilliant. Probably need to find a way of either halving the quantities or bringing somebody along with me to share it with me, because that was a lot of food and I'm absolutely gunnelled. But all in all, absolutely top winner. So what I'm going to do now is pitch black, and I'm thinking about having a fire. Now I've got a little firebox with me, and I've got a little aluminium table, so I'm going to put that out there so it doesn't burn the grass. Might seem, you know, a bit late to worry about the burnt grass, but you know, I've got to set an example. There are so many burn patches on the grass here, it's just ridiculous. And why somebody would start another fire, you know, 2 feet to the right of a burn patch that's got stones around it already, beats me. I just can't understand the mentality of that. But there must be hundreds of burn patches here. It's just, it annoys me. So I'm going to make sure that my fire does not leave any marks. So I'm going to go and set that up. I've even bought my own wood with me. So, a bag of wood, because again, you don't come camping and then go snap trees down to have a fire. That's why all the trees around here are absolutely, well, knackered. They're gone. They've had all the branches snapped off them. So if you can have a fire, take your wood with you. I won't preach, but yeah, it gets my goat a bit. So I'm going to go and set up a fire out there and get my chair out there, and I'm going to have a chill in front of a fire, which I don't do very often, but I think it's okay to do it here. Well, I've got a fire going, as you can see by my breath. Temperature has dropped quite a bit. Forecast has been way off today. It was supposed to be effectively 10 degrees all night, but it's quite a bit colder than that. It was also supposed to stay dry all day, and it's been raining on and off since I got here. I'm not even sure what the time is. It's 5:45. I thought it was the middle of the night. It's a very dark night. We've got no moon, a lot of cloud cover, and yeah, it's chilly. But you can see down here, I've got my fire going and my little firebox. I'm not cooking on it, but works great as a controllable fire. In fact, I shall move the camera and let you see how I've set up my fire, because yeah, it works. And the wind's blowing that way, and that way is the shore. I mean, like 10 foot that way is the shore. So I'm not actually that bothered about these little embers blowing that way. That's why I'm sitting this side, because what I didn't want is embers blowing onto my van or blowing inland onto the fields. So that way onto the sea, I'm happy enough with. So I'm going to reposition the camera so you can get a look at how I've set this up. So there you go. That's my little firebox held off the ground on a little aluminium table. It's funny, I bought this table years ago and I've never really found much of a use for it. It's kind of, ordinarily it's a bit too small and low to the ground, but hey, for this it's fine. My wood's a bit spitty and the wind is definitely stirring it up a bit, but yeah, I'm happy enough that the embers are going in a safe direction. But there you go. That's what I've got. The bits of wood to the side of the stove were actually acting as a windbreak, but they've also caught fire, so they're contributing to it. So there we go. I'm set up for the night. I'm going to have a drink, or I'll pour a drink all over myself. Either way, I'm going to relax. I'm going to get my phone rigged up to listen to my Rebus book, which I've got about 4 hours worth left of this book. And I think what I'll do is I'll just sit and listen to the sea for a few hours now, because it's only like 6 o'clock. and when it's time to hunker down in the van, I'll show you how I've got it set up, because I'm going to have a bit of a move around in there to be able to lie comfortably and get in, basically, because, you know, it is tiny. So I'll bring you back when I'm setting up to go to Kip. So I'll see you in a bit. Well, that's me in the van. I ran out of firewood and it's peeing down with rain now, so it was time to get in. So I'm getting myself comfy. I've got my foam mat on the floor. It doesn't quite fit, it's a bit too long, so I've got it kind of up the edges, and I'm going to be sleeping in my OEX bag, which I've heard people slagging off recently, but I think these are really good and it's done me proud. I've had it for about 5 years and it's going strong. And I'm just going to lie down, and I'll have to lie slightly S-shaped because it's not quite long enough, but I sleep like that anyway, so it's not really a problem. I've got 2 blow-up pillows in a pillowcase, and in case I do get kind of chilly, because I tend to sleep with the top half out, I've got my down jacket here, but equally I'll put that over my pillow. And well, there ain't much room for anything else, so I'm just going to lie down. I'm going to listen to my book, and I think I'll see you in the morning, unless something happens in the night. If it's a good quiet night, I'll see you in the morning. So see you then. Well, good morning. Well, that wasn't the comfiest night's sleep. I think a foam pad is not enough padding for lying on the van floor. It was a bit hard and I tossed and turned a bit. I did actually bring an air mattress with me, but it's too big to lie on the diagonal in the van. So if I'm going to do this again, I'm going to have to think up something. But yeah, I'm not sure about this sleeping in car parks. I know a lot of people do it, but yeah, 2 in the morning, there was a car parked next to me with its engine running for about 40 minutes, and then they disappeared, and then another one turned up. I don't know what time that was. Yeah, for a quiet little car park, it had a lot of coming and going in the dead hours of the night. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick to my tents. I think this van thing's possibly not for me. But anyway, I'm going to get up, I'm going to get a brew, and then I'm going to head home. And I think what I'll do is I'll do a wash up when I get back, so I'll see you there. Well, that's me back home, and all in all, a rather peculiar camp. I am not sure what was going on in that car park at stupid o'clock in the morning, and I'm not convinced I want to know, but I'm pretty sure it was dodgy. Now, I have camped at New Aberdour numerous times, but always in a tent or a bivvy, and always as far from the car park as I possibly could get. This was the first time in a van, and I don't think I'm going to be using hashtag van life for quite a while yet. I think my van's going to be reserved for doing the tip run and taking the dog out, and I think I'm going to keep my camping in tents and bivvies. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and leave a comment. And if you're not already subscribed, if you would consider clicking the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, if you would consider sharing the video. All these things help that mystical YouTube algorithm find the channel and spread the word. That all being said, until the next one, I'll say ta-ra. Ta-ra a bit. Oh.